So again, I mean, for us, our first day in pads, the schedule's set where it's not as long on the field, and that'll gradually build up again. I thought we did pretty well overall, though, carrying them. One update just on Drew, because there's been a lot written. The news for us was good news in that it's a ligament in his foot and it's not a tendon. What does that mean? It's going to be certainly north of 4 to 6 weeks, but the tendon was what we were concerned about. So I'm not going to try to spell it, but the ligament repair is a much easier one than that of a tendon. So we were all pretty happy with that. I'll update you when we get a timeline. And there have been some cases where there's surgery, some where there's not. And I think he's doing the right thing right now, kind of exploring those options. Any questions from today?
Sean, first in pads, can you feel juice, energy, intensity?
Yeah, it's different. I mean, it's different, especially for the guys in the front.
Why isn't Courtland participating in 7-on-7s and
Well, he's gotten reps. He's gotten limited reps, and I think we're close. I'm not going to speak ahead of it, but we're real close on a contract. And, I think our goal when he and I met, George, all along was this coming Monday. So I think there'll be something fairly soon there.
Thank you.
Is it frustrating as you're I know it's early, but as you're trying to get football stuff done, there's something that's kind of football?
No, not at all. I mean, not with a veteran who's like Courtland, who's real smart. I mean, here's the deal. He's been participating in all the individual, all the one-on-one. He's gotten 7-on-7 work. He's gotten team reps. He's just being smart. And so it'd be different if you felt like he was missing improvement or not being out here or just being out here riding the bike or something. So I kind of know that player well enough to feel real good about where he's at in his mindset, both mentally and physically.
He's obviously had experience in the NFL before he got here, but how have you sort of seen him grow into the vision, Courtland, that you had for him specifically in this offense as well?
Well, look, I think like any player, he's dealt with some injuries. There's certain years. His 19 film was outstanding. His film last year, finding that right weight and balance, and then, what are the things that he does well? Certainly, he's a strong target. He's smart. He's one of our, I would say, clearly one of our leaders on this team. So there's a lot of things that he brings to the table.
Just for clarification, this is a contract that will take him past this season?
No, I didn't say anything about that. I just said we're close to a deal. Nothing else. We good?
With Greenlaw, you said he's one of those guys when you put the pads on, you can see a little bit of him. When
you can hear it.
With his film, how much does that physicality stand out in terms of what he brings to it?
I think it's one of his greatest strengths. He plays the position in such a way where you can't help but notice it on film. His pad level, his strength, his lower body strength, I mean, it's impressive. So I'm glad we have him.
The 49ers obviously want to do that this offseason. How happy you guys?
Listen, when you get in the competition, those competitive juices are. You're trying to put your best foot forward, and both with he and Huff, and so look, that happens in free agency. Sometimes, you get the player you're looking for. Sometimes it's harder to judge, but we were excited, on Wednesday when he was all in.
Coach, when you had the vision when you signed up in agreement for that Joker role, has that played out on the field just how you hoped?
Well, we're early. We're getting ready, we're heading into the preseason, but there is a vision we have for him. Certainly he can run. He's got really good receiving skill sets. He's got a good understanding of the passing game. And I think it's the progress has been good.
With Singleton being like a tackling machine, how does he complement what Greenlaw does best?
Good question. you know, Alex is in the Mike position, and you know, Dre is in more of that weak side, Mo or Will. A little bit more run and hit for Greenlaw. But I think, look, they both have they're both smart players, and to have Alex back healthy is big. And then with the experience of Dre, I mean, if we can stay healthy, they're pretty formidable.
In terms of Dre's skill set, just what dimension does he add to the defense?
He plays like Mike Tyson. You know, I mean, he's tough, he's physical, he's built that way. There's not a lot of leaky yardage. You know, some guys, he's a knockback tackler. You know, they stop where he hits them. There's an intensity to how he plays, and it's just he's one of those players that if you put the film on and didn't say anything, at some point early you would ask, who is this guy?
Sean, what did you guys learn from Alex Palczewski getting a couple starts early last season and just his?
I've had a few of those younger guys get some work. Look, he's played a lot of football. He's smart. He can go inside and play guard, play tackle. He can play the jumbo tight end. That versatility, his football awareness, and his football IQ, I think, along with his strength. You know, he's strong. We didn't feel like there was a step backwards when he was playing. And that's what you hope for with a young, you know, developmental offensive lineman.
In a similar vein, what did you learn from Dre Tillman when you had to put him out there late against Tampa Bay and he had those couple of sets?
Yeah, it's just getting those live snaps. Look, he's got good decision making, keen diagnose. I think he's smart, and there's a growth period that every one of these guys has to the system and what we're doing, and some of it is exponential or faster than others. Some of it takes a little while, but he's picked things up.
Does Dre's injury change how you see the depth?
Well, it just changes the short term, and I'm saying 4 to 6, 7, 8 weeks, you know, and so we'll look at that position closely and understand the reps and how we have to approach it.
On that, what have you seen?
Got a couple days ago, he had a real good practice, so he's doing well.
A curiosity question from someone not in your shoes or living that life. When you win a off-season sort of micro battle for someone like Green against the 49ers, is it just business as usual, or can there develop like an organic?
No, there's a fist pump on the way home in my car. And then it's business. So it's, yeah, there's, and it's, part of it is the movement of the program. You know, you're seeing where this is a place where guys want to be, and it's just an affirmation or like, hey, we're heading in the right direction. You know, part of that's the quarterback. You know, players are smart today. They want to go where they are. These things in place, and I think 2 years ago, I don't know that we win that battle. Does that make sense? Like, I don't know that we do, but we did last year.
2 years ago, what was the sales pitch like compared to the sales pitch in 2020?
Well, you're selling a playoff team with a young, aspiring quarterback, and 2 years ago, you're selling a vision. And I can tell you what the new building is going to look like 2 years ago, but I can tell you what it's going to look like now, and it's an easier sell when you kind of see it a little bit. It's that simple.
Sean, with the day off, how was the attempt? You said you're starting back over with the install.
Yeah, so we're working on scripting. We're working on putting the video cut-ups together, practice planning this week, you know, all the way through basically Saturday again. And so today's install was a little bit of what they got last week, a lot of what they got.
There seems to be like a serious nature about the team right now. Like guys will come up and talk very serious out here at practice, even compared to years past. Do you feel that as a coach? That, like, this is a
Yeah.
mature group?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's interesting. You're always looking for that combination of experience and youth. We're young, obviously, and yet we've got some guys that have played a lot of games in the postseason. A lot of the free agents we brought in have been in, not just the two from San Francisco, but others. It happens, and I don't know that you recognize it happening with the signing of one, but you continue to look for the certain player you're looking for, and then it begins to take shape. And so when people ask about culture a lot, I really think it starts with the ingredients, and it starts with the draft and who you're signing after the draft and who you're signing in free agency, because we can aspire to have great culture, but if we don't sign the right players, then it's going to be difficult or impossible.
In regards to the players and culture, sometimes you say of a guy, it means more to him. So when you're...
And that's a hard thing to evaluate, but you're right. Like one of the biggest challenges for us in the when the draft comes is we have all the film, we have the combine, and we're really trying to dig into the makeup and the football makeup of players, which sometimes is not as easy as, you can see the film. But I think the ability for us now to Zoom interviews and have more interaction than maybe in years past has helped that process. And yet, I think it's still one of the important things, trying to find out those things that maybe you can't see on film.
When you talk about running back being an easier position to evaluate, how long does it take to sort of get a feel for if a guy's picking up the intricacies of what, landmarks on specifically?
I think that you can begin to pick that up. I mean, JK's experienced, and that transition has been swift, right? Each one of these guys learns a different way, and some of them have more experience than others. But I think you begin to pick that up with that position like right away, because there's certain assignments, regardless of whether you're in pads or not, that you can see. I think the big challenge for the young back is the protections at this level compared to what they had at the collegiate level. They're different, and they can be more complex. And so then, do I know who to block? And then, how do I block them? So a lot of times, the programs they're coming from may not have been as extensive. But I think that's something that's ongoing for us. Like, we're seeing it.
Sean, what kind of conversations do you have with guys in the past come on about obviously increased physicality, but making sure there's not fights or extracurricular?
Well, just one of the notes here was just, playing with the pads, but understanding the pre and post snap penalties, being able to get to that line but not cross it, and it can cost you a game. And in our league, one game can be the best of 7. It's the finality is so much different. Like, we can't overcome a game if it's an important one. And so there weren't any skirmishes, but those can come up during camp, and you want to just minimize that risk of someone getting hurt.
Sean, you've talked about kind of the need of the goal for this team to start faster a little bit this year.
Yeah.
How does that influence kind of what you were just talking about? How you see the young guys on the roster? If there's maybe more of a sense of urgency, or do you place more trust?
Look, I think more than anything, you look internally relative to your schedule the week leading up to the regular season game. In other words, you want to make sure you're not part of this issue. Like, all right, and evaluate your weeks leading up to week 1 or week 2, and we'll have a chance to do that.